also the Big 12 today with news that we've heard about the international flavor. Craig, the Big 12 will be working on a bowl game, a postseason game in Mexico starting in 2026. And then also the fact that Houston and Kansas will have men's and women's basketball there in 2024. There will be soccer, baseball, and much more as Yormark reaches outside of the parameters of the area, but also outside of the country.
We knew he was, doing his best to try and find new avenues of making money, new avenues of just promoting the brand, new avenues of spreading the word about, the teams in this league and, their stars and their coaches and, just the institutions themselves. I mean, he's made that very clear, whether it's, talking about camps with, basketball personalities up at Rutgers Park in New York, or whether it's been something like playing a football or basketball game internationally. There's been a lot of things thrown out there as ideas, and, good to see that kind of, take another step forward so that we now have some more details, and it's not just something that was floated out into the ether and then it was just, said and then not really followed up on. No, they're following up on, what they initially mentioned about having some exhibition games in Mexico for, better or worse. I don't know. As far as, what kind of impact it can have, I certainly don't think it can hurt. I certainly think that if it's going forward, then the schools all signed off on it, obviously, so they see some benefit to it, which I'm sure was, part of the discussion, and we know it was part of the discussion last week at spring meeting. So, glad to see some finalization there, even though there's still some more details to be worked out. It was really interesting, though, when Pete Thamel put his first tweet out, because he just mentioned Houston and Kansas playing, and it made it sound like it was a football game or something, and it was like, whoa, wait a second, a football game. And then he deleted it and he clarified, no, it's basketball. Like, oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because Houston, Kansas, and football, I would have needed to hear a lot more about who gave up a home game willingly and to do that. And
hey, Mexico, we're going to roll out a big football game for you. Here's Houston and Kansas.
Right,
the teams that you all know and love down here in Monterrey, Mexico.
Yeah, so, it's good to see some more follow-up on that and start to kind of see what the future is going to look like with all their different initiatives. And so now we know, some baseball and some women's basketball and some, whatever else has been mentioned at this point. I know it's going to be a variety of sports. So, yeah, it's cool. I'm not sold on this is going to be a great thing every year and that it's going to set the world on fire, but I do think it's something different, and they're a conference that needs to do something a little bit different. And if they can be the one that's on the cutting edge of sort of leading that way in that regard, then it's an avenue for them to potentially fully and firmly establish themselves moving forward as the number 3. Or if you're a believer of the whole breakaway and this is going to be a split type of association moving forward, the number 3 would technically be number 1 in the different division or whatever you think that it is that's going to be broken off, inevitably. So, yeah, I think it's good positioning for the future and just smart to kind of, spread your wings a little bit.
I think the basketball game's a great idea. I'm on the fence on the football game because the international games are hit or miss. It's different, especially the bowl season is strange, but and that's true. That's not only true in the Bahamas Bowl. That's true in whatever bowl in whatever city, depending on who winds up falling into it, whether it's going to be well attended or not. But I do think that this is not about because in the Bahamas Bowl, the problem that they have is, okay, yeah, sure, it's going to be great for the teams to go to the Bahamas, but it's right before Christmas. How many people can change their holiday plans to just pop on down to the Bahamas to watch their team play? This is not going to be, and then the Bahamas are not densely populated. I mean, especially not densely populated with people who have money to have tickets to go to the college football game that they may not even care about. Mexico's different, though. So if you're going to host a bowl game in Monterrey, this is about, curating Mexican football fans. This is about getting those fans in that country, not necessarily about the fans from the bowl game, the teams from the bowl game that'll go to it.
Okay, but it's also about who might sponsor this and possibility of either money from United States companies that will want to be a part of it to reach the Mexican audience and or businesses in Mexico, Monterrey, et cetera, that also want to be a part of it too. Now, there was a